Hey everyone, welcome to our University of Idaho soil judging team soil monolith raffle. Today we had a bit of a problem with our Instagram live, so we are recording this so you guys can see the program we put together for you guys and see live as we have it how the raffle pans out. Paul is going to give us a brief introduction. What is soil judging? What are we fundraising for? And a bit about how we made the monolith. So I'm going to hand it over to him.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you for, first of all, making this Monolith Raffle happen. It's really thanks to Mary Beth that we had the idea and we had the execution for our Monolith Raffle. So we really, really appreciate your contributions, Mary Beth. Thank you. Like Mary Beth mentioned, we have a short program today to introduce our Monolith Raffle before the big reveal. Hopefully this works for screen sharing. Our raffle will begin shortly, but first I want to provide a little bit of introduction, a little bit about what soil judging is in the first place, because we have a lot of followers on our social media, as well as maybe people who purchased a Monolith Raffle ticket without really knowing the story behind the University of Idaho soil judging team and what soil judging even is in the first place. So here's a look at the monolith in question, the star of the show today, in addition to Mary Beth, are the monolith that we are about to give away. But before that, what is soil judging? Of course, there's a lot of misconceptions. We've heard a lot of ideas about what soil judging is. Do we bring soil to be judged? Does the winning team have the soil with the most carbon in it, or the most fertilizer, or the most fertile, productive, healthy soil? That's not what soil judging is. We are the ones as students judging the soil. So this is a little view of soil judging in action, soil judging happening last fall at our soil judging trip to beautiful and sunny Grand Junction, Colorado. The reverse view here of our undergraduate students on the soil judging team in the soil pit, as it were. They're evaluating the soil here at this predetermined location. So we are told where to go at a soil judging competition, what soil to evaluate. It's not up to us to show up to a contest and then go find the best soil to judge. We are told where to go, and we're also told in the form of a answer key description what properties and what characteristics have been evaluated by professionals. So that's the goal of the students is to come up with all of these assessments about the soil, its color, its texture, its structure, other soil morphological properties. And then they're going to take that information and from that draw conclusions about the water infiltration, flow, and storage in the soil profile, how this soil profile retains and interacts with water based on its characteristics that they have already described, how the soil formed in terms of its landscape and geological origin at this location, what that means for the soil runoff and erosion potential, some land management considerations there. Students also provide a soil taxonomic classification, so much like the animal kingdom and plants and fungi are arranged into a taxonomic scheme with the genus and the species level classifications for plants and animals. Soil has a similar taxonomic language or system, and the students provide that classification just based on their own interpretations of the soil, as well as some lab data that's provided for each location. Finally, the students provide some practical interpretations too. So for architecture or engineering purposes, what could this site be suitably used for in terms of building a house with a basement? Could you install a septic tank here and have efficient or suitable drainage? Could you use this soil as road building material? Could you build a road on this site as it naturally is? And then there's also one of our favorite parts about coming back to soil judging year after year, semester after semester, is the local flavor that we get new at each contest. So in this example, our students are judging soil in an orchard in Grand Junction, Colorado. They're particularly proud of their peach growing, the Palisade peaches of Western Colorado. So peach growing suitability was an assessment that our students had to learn for the fall competition. Thankfully, the soil we rated as at least somewhat suitable, probably highly suitable for peaches here in this orchard. In the past we've had potato growing suitability in our contest last spring, and this spring we're looking forward to two new ones: pine growing suitability, loblolly pine growing suitability, and liquid manure applications to soil. So it's a great way to, first of all, learn how to do all of these things, which are essential experiences for students going into soil judging or students involved in soil judging and then taking that forward into careers in natural resources. Could be in agriculture, could be environmental consulting, could be government work as a soil scientist, could be a really wide range of careers in natural resource management. These are really essential skills that soil judging is far and away, in our opinions, the best way to develop these skills as a student. To top it all off, they have to do all these interpretations in a single hour. They're given some time constraints and also some limitations on exactly how many people can be in this soil pit at once examining the profile. So it's easy for that time to fly by and to manage the stress of making all these determinations and checking your work and being thorough and also doing it in the time allotted, plus maybe multiple pits after another. It could be 3 or it could be 4 in a given soil judging competition. Evaluate on your own too for both the individual portion and the group judging event at the soil judging contest, where our team is given one single description sheet or the page, the standard form that they record all these observations on, and then the group works collaboratively to make these determinations. So individual and group judging, both great ways for our students to build experience with these soil characterization and interpretation skills. Like we said, it is a competition. So teams representing schools from all across the country gather at these local competitions in the fall semester, usually is the regional contest. In Grand Junction, we won the Northwest Regional Soil Judging Contest for the 4th straight year. So our the sharpshooter is the Northwest Region's trophy there. Has called Moscow home for the last 4 years. We are really proud of our regional accomplishments there. And then we followed it up last spring at the 2025 National Collegiate Soil Judging Contest with the first national championship in soil judging in U of I history. So we are still really thrilled, really proud of that historic accomplishment for both our school and our region. No team has ever come out of Region 7 to win the national championship. So we are particularly proud of our recent success in soil judging, as well as these fundamental skills that we are providing our students with. So this season, in spring 2026, we are looking forward to the national competition once again in Raleigh, North Carolina. This will be hosted by North Carolina State University. We are really looking forward to these tremendously diverse soils and very, very different from what we have here in the Northwest, as well as what we've seen recently at these national competitions in the Midwest and the general kind of Great Plains area. North Carolina is going to be fantastically different. And here's just a small selection of soil pits there that we are looking forward to getting a chance to describe coming up in just about a month. So the week after spring break for us, at least in our academic schedule, March 22nd through the 27th will be the spring 2026 national contest. Our team will be bringing 6 undergraduate student judgers to compete, as well as 3 graduate student coaches. And to travel with these 9 people clear across the country from the Northwest to the Southeast, our $10,000 travel fundraising goal was what we set out to raise this year through a variety of ways, applying for our club and organization funds, reaching out to former soil judges, our team alumni to solicit donations, as well as corporations and commissions in the area, our creative fundraisers, selling merchandise, selling Krispy Kreme donuts as a fundraiser, and this soil monolith raffle is just one part of our broad fundraising efforts. But thanks to this monolith raffle, we have officially met this $10,000 travel fundraising goal. So we are officially on the way to North Carolina. So to everybody who purchased raffle tickets for this monolith, we thank you for your support for making our journey to defend the national championship a reality. So we thank you for your support for our monolith raffle, and for your interest in calling one of these soil monoliths your very own. If you're not familiar with soil monoliths or the soil science department at the University of Idaho in the first place, we have a fantastic collection of these. So what even is a soil monolith? Essentially, it's a cross section of a soil profile. Could be up to 5 feet, I think is a pretty standard size for the collection that we have our soil monoliths in. But they do not have to be this big. Some are very small. The monolith that we are raffling today is about, it's on the 4 foot side. It's about 6 to maybe 8 inches wide. It's a good home display size rather than this industrial strength setup here with just how heavy these soil profiles are all hanging on the wall all together. But these soil monoliths totally line the hallways of our agricultural science building and the lab itself. So this picture right here is taken from inside our soil science teaching lab where we are recording from today. But none of these pictures show overlapping monoliths. These are all unique views of the hallway, all different perspectives, and this isn't even all the monoliths in the collection. So we are tremendously grateful for having this fantastic visual resource of appreciating the diversity of soils in our world. A lot of them are collected from Idaho and Washington in the Northwest area, but we have some from quite a ways away. We've got Alaska permafrost soils you can see here in this picture. There's one oxisol in the collection that's a tropical soil, this small red one here collected from Hawaii. But we have some of the Cecil series collected from Georgia. We've been taking a close look at that one for our North Carolina practice lately. But some monoliths from a wide variety of places represented here in our fantastic collection. We owe this collection in the first place to a former professor of soil science here in our department, Dr. Maynard Fosberg. He was a PhD student at the University of Wisconsin in the 1940s while Aldo Leopold was working and teaching. Maynard Fosberg was a student of Aldo Leopold's, and after completing his PhD, I believe serving in the military, he came out to the University of Idaho as a pedology, as a soil science professor, and he just started to work on this immense collection. On the bottom label of each one of these monoliths, there's information about its description, its location, and its collection to the data it was collected. And a lot of these monoliths were collected all throughout Maynard Fosberg's career here in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. He ultimately retired in 1989, but stayed really heavily involved in the departments and also the land judging program for Idaho FFA at the high school level. Only in 2020 did he pass away at the age of 101. Really tremendous life and legacy left behind on the walls of our U of I soil science department. The collection is named in his honor, the Maynard Fosberg Monolith Collection. So he left behind some of this institutional knowledge in the form of pictures, demonstration, and the instruction manual, as it were, to make one of these monoliths according to Maynard's specifications. Have been some changes since the 1960s and 70s in terms of the adhesive chemicals that we can easily obtain at the local hardware store and also pour down the drain when we're done with. So we've had to make some changes to the procedure to make some of these monoliths, but in general, we follow the same process to do it. This monolith specifically, we want to share about how the monolith to be raffled came about. There was a collaboration between the pedology class this past fall here at the U of I. I am the instructor of our pedology class, and our students this year were really curious about making a monolith, and they wanted to maybe see how it's done or maybe help out if they could. So one of our lab field trips in November last fall, we went out to our field trip destination near Beauville, Idaho, where we had a really tremendous soil profile to look at. And we went out of our way to this road cut exposure of a soil profile that we believe is the Three Bear series, the state soil of Idaho. And we got to work preparing the monoliths. So the first step is to clear a face on the soil profile that we want to preserve as a monolith. So this is the exposed or the early exposed profile that we ended up collecting for the monolith to be raffled. Some of the other photos we're about to look at come from a collection of different monolith extraction projects, including some from Maynard himself. So the first practice monolith that our team set out to do was last summer. And this is a picture of us figuring that out. But once the profile is flattened and cleaned up and cleared as best we can for the monolith preparation, we take our board, could be any size that's the monolith will ultimately be. So we really try to focus on the board area to really flatten up, get it flush with the soil surface of the exposed profile. And then our first layer of glue. So we've been using a diluted Elmer's glue mixture here. Bring a paintbrush out, we paint it on the soil, and then add a layer of cheesecloth, a little mesh fabric here to ultimately be the backbone holding the soil onto the board. So we apply the cheesecloth to the exposed soil profile here. We let it dry. Maynard was able to do this in about an hour or less. We prefer a couple hours, maybe 24 hours for best results to totally let this glue dry. But once the glue is dry, we put the field board back on to cover up that cheesecloth, and then you dig out either side around that board. So you're digging kind of back into the soil now. And we like using hammers, shovels, and soil knives, and looks like a hatchet here that Maynard is using to dig back 4 to 6 inches, really far enough for you to then start digging around it. So you're kind of connecting through a tunnel back behind the board and the soil profile with the glue on it. And then Maynard's recommendation was to use these cloth strips to tie the soil to the board to really try to hold it together without falling apart. So once you have the sides dug out, you kind of reach back behind it. As soon as you can see daylight on the other side, pass the cloth through, tie that on the back, and then keep digging through on the back, tying it off as you go. Eventually you have this big the cross section of soil, right, tied onto the board and like it's mollified. So we did it exactly the same way with our cloth strips. Tried to carefully, as best we can, get this out of the field into the truck and then back to our lab here. It definitely multiple people to carry some of these. Soil is pretty heavy. But once it gets back to the lab, we unwrap these cloth strips around it and then transfer it from our field board to our final board. So to really make it last the test of time here, we liberally apply glue onto the final board that the soil will be displayed on. And then once again, using probably 2 or 3 people, lift the soil profile from the field board onto the final board. So that glue and the cheesecloth is only applied to the soil. The board that's in the soil pit is only there to like give it some structure and make it easier to transport. The final board with the glue slathered all over it is what will end up being displayed. So once the glue is on there, once the soil is carefully transferred, we use soil knives or pocket knives or maybe our hammers again to kind of pick the soil surface clean and try to expose the natural soil structure in it, because it's all kind of smudged and smeared from our digging out from the soil pit, as well as the cloth ties around it. So we're trying to pick it clean, try to prepare the surface to make it as natural looking as we can. And then using compressed air to blow air on the soil to blow all the loose particles, all the aggregates that we've broken off, to really expose all the roots and the natural soil structure. I was really surprised how effective that spraying air on the soil profile works. It really cleans it up very nicely. Then once we've done all the fine tuning and the adjustments and the picking apart that we want to do, oh boy, this is what it looks like with a layer of glue on it. So here on the setup on the edge of the table this is our our first practice monolith with a fresh layer of Mod Podge is what we've been using as the soil sealer here. It looks like it's all gooped on and a gross looking white color, leaving a nasty residue all over the soil. But if you just give it a couple hours to dry, it turns out in a beautiful field moist state. It's really solid, and the soil is really well adhered and protected to give us the final product of our Win Me Soil Monolith um, raffle prize. So with that, our raffle by the numbers here, we've had 49 individual purchasers of tickets representing over 400 total tickets sold. When we posted on our social media just yesterday of 200 tickets sold, that was accurate. We've nearly doubled the amount of tickets sold just in the last 24 hours alone. So I personally am just blown away by the support and the interest and the traction that this our raffle has gained. Our largest purchaser is represented by Meter Group, a soil science or just industrial. Um, they manufacture sensors and soil measuring, soil monitoring equipment, headquartered right here in Pullman, Washington, not very far away. Purchased 75 tickets as a collective. So right now, going into the drawing, we would say have the highest percentage. The highest likelihood here, and the farthest purchase of tickets is from somebody from Virginia. So to be determined how we end up delivering this monolith outside of town, if needed. But with that, I think it's time to spin, and I will turn it back over to Mary Beth.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's been many, many weeks of this fundraiser. So I'm very excited to share this with you guys, and I'm very excited for one of you to get to take home the monolith. So to keep it fair, we're gonna do this live. And yeah, let's spin.
Tegan, yeah. Tegan Macy is one of our current soil judges. Purchased tickets on behalf of her family, we believe.
Yes, yes. Her parents are very into the soil monoliths. Just this morning, she bought some for her sister, Kaylee. So we can only assume it's going to make it out to Culver, Oregon, I think.
Congratulations to the Macy family. We thank everyone for participating, for joining for our short program today. Apologies once again that it's not being broadcast live on Instagram, but we hope this is the next best alternative.
Thank you guys. Oh my gosh. I don't remember how to stop recording.